Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I just wanted to make a short little video. So I officially finished Low Budget Repairs, and overall I actually really enjoyed this game. But I started looking through the Steam reviews and I noticed there are a few complaints that keep coming up over and over again. Some of them I completely understand, some of them I experienced myself, and then there are a few that I definitely don't agree with. So while you're watching me play through the final job in Low Budget Repairs, we're going to go through some of the most common negative Steam reviews, talk about my experience with those issues, and figure out whether I think the criticism is actually fair. So let's get into these reviews. First, reviews that I'm seeing is the game isn't what the trailers promised. One of the biggest complaints I've seen is that the game isn't what people thought they were getting based on the original trailers. Some players said they had Low Budget Repairs wishlisted for a long time because the trailers made it look like you'd have a lot more freedom to completely butcher these repairs. Things like walls actually cracking when you drill into them, cutting doors into weird shapes, and just having more creative ways to do an absolutely terrible job. And I can understand being disappointed if that's what originally sold you on the game, but personally, this one doesn't bother me much, mostly because Low Budget Repairs did have a playable demo before release. And from what I played, the demo was pretty representative of what the actual gameplay ended up being. So while I understand somebody looking at an older trailer and thinking, wait, where did all that go? I also think the demo gave you a much better idea of what you were actually buying. If you had this game wishlisted for a long time because of those early trailers, I definitely think playing the demo first would have helped set your expectations for what the finished game was actually going to be. So I understand this negative review, but for me personally, this wasn't really an issue. I knew pretty much what kind of game I was getting into, and I ended up enjoying it. Another complaint is tile cutting and placement. Okay, this one I actually do agree with. I've seen quite a few people complaining about the tile cutting and placement. People are saying tiles are breaking when they're trying to place other tiles, they're not registering properly, and they're literally going through walls. And yes, the tile cutting was definitely broken for me. But what I figured out though was the problem seemed to happen when I tried cutting the tile while it was on glue. Once I stopped doing that and started placing the tile against a regular wall without glue, cutting it there and then putting it where I needed it, I didn't really have any issues. Now, obviously, that's a workaround. You shouldn't have to figure out some weird little trick just to get a basic mechanic to work properly. So I completely understand the frustration in these reviews, especially if somebody didn't figure that out and ended up abandoning the job because of it. At the same time, the game did just come out and the developers seem to be paying attention to the reviews and fixing bugs. So I'm hoping this is one of those things that gets patched pretty quickly. So for this negative review, yes, I agree. The tile system definitely needs some work. I was just lucky enough to find a workaround that made it a lot less frustrating for me. Which brings me to my next thing that people are complaining about, bugs and physics problems. Another big complaint I'm seeing is about bugs and physics problems, and I can agree with this one to an extent. There are definitely some bugs in the game. I've seen people reporting items disappearing, objects falling through walls or floors, furniture physics going absolutely crazy, and having to reload their saves just to get things working again. I personally didn't experience anything that completely ruined the game for me or stopped me from finishing it. But I'm also not going to say the bugs aren't there just because I didn't have the same experience as some of the reviewers. The biggest thing for me is that the developers seem to be listening. The game just released, they've been communicating with players, and they're already working on fixes for issues people are bringing up. So I am a little more forgiving when it comes to bugs in brand new games when I can actually see the developers are acknowledging them and trying to fix them. That doesn't make the complaints invalid though, especially if somebody lost progress or had to constantly reload their game. That would definitely be frustrating. But from my experience, the bugs weren't bad enough to take away from the fun I was having, and knowing that they're actively being addressed makes me a lot less concerned about them. The clunky interaction and controls, this one I've seen a lot too. People are saying that picking things up, moving furniture, and just trying to manipulate objects can be really frustrating. And I'm actually not going to completely disagree with this one because moving some of the furniture normally can be a pain. Trying to grab it at the right angle, get it through a doorway, put it in your truck, or throw it out the window can turn into way more work than it needs to be. But I do have a solution for this one. I actually posted a YouTube short about this because once I figured it out, moving furniture became so much easier. So instead of trying to fight with the giant piece of furniture, just equip your screwdriver and dismantle it, because when you dismantle the furniture, the game turns it into a box. So now, instead of trying to maneuver an entire piece of furniture through the house, you're just carrying a little box that's way easier to move around and get out of the building. There are some objects you can't dismantle though, so unfortunately, you're still going to have to fight with those a little bit, but it's really just what I found to be bikes and certain shelving. So they're not very huge, like a big old couch. But for most of the furniture I was having trouble with, this made a huge difference. So yes, the controls can definitely be clunky, and I understand why people are complaining about them, but before you spend 5 minutes trying to wrestle a couch through a doorway, just grab the screwdriver and dismantle it. Save yourself the headache, please. And the last kind of review that I've seen is the game is too repetitive or too short. This is probably the negative review I disagree with the most. I've seen people saying the game gets repetitive, that you're basically doing the same mini games over and over again, and that there isn't enough variety or creative problem solving, but I really didn't feel that way. Honestly, low budget repairs reminded me a little bit of House Flipper in that sense. Of course, you're going to repeat certain mechanics because that's the type of game it is. You're repairing things, cleaning things up, moving stuff around, painting, tiling, all of those little jobs are part of the gameplay loop. But I actually thought there were way more different tasks and mechanics than I was expecting going into the game. As I kept playing, I was surprised by how many different things the game had me doing, maybe because I'm used to playing House Flipper. The jobs weren't just walking into another house and doing the exact same thing all over again. There was enough variety between the locations, objectives, mechanics, and storyline that I personally never got bored. And I definitely don't agree with judging the entire game after only 48 minutes and saying it's too repetitive. You haven't seen most of what the game has to offer at that point. So as far as the length goes, I was happy with it. By the time I finished the game, I felt like I got a complete experience. I wasn't sitting there thinking, wait, that's it? So they do have a house that you actually purchase in the beginning of the game, and you're welcome to redo your house. Like, you don't have to just end the game at the last job. Could they add more jobs in the future? Absolutely. I'd actually love that because I enjoyed playing it. But I don't think the game needed to drag itself out just for the sake of being longer. So this is where my experience was completely different from the negative reviews. I thought there was plenty to do, more variety than I expected, and I was happy with the amount of content I got. So are the negative reviews fair? I don't know. After finishing low budget repairs, I don't think the negative reviews are completely wrong. The tile system definitely gave me problems. The controls can be clunky. There are bugs, and I understand why somebody who followed the really early trailers might have expected something different. But none of those things ruined the game for me. I think sometimes when you're looking at reviews, especially negative ones, it's easy to see a list of problems and assume the entire game is a mess. And that just wasn't my experience. I had fun. I liked the storyline, I liked the humor, and I actually really enjoyed seeing what ridiculous situation the game was going to put me into next. So it's definitely not a perfect game, and there are things I want to see fixed, but I also think there's a really fun game underneath those issues. And the fact that the developers seem to be listening to player feedback and working on the bugs makes me interested to see where they take the game from here. So, if you've been looking at the negative reviews and wondering whether low budget repairs is worth playing, hopefully hearing from somebody who actually finished the game helps you make that decision. For me, I loved it. I had fun with it. I'm happy I played it. And if they add more jobs in the future, I'll definitely be coming back. So let me know in the comments if you've played low budget repairs and whether you agree with these negative reviews or if your experience was more like mine. But before I let you watch the last of this video, I just wanted to say, I also want to ask you guys for a little bit of help with the channel. I'm currently working toward getting monetized on YouTube, and I'm about 2,000 watch hours away from reaching my goal. So honestly, the biggest way you can support me right now is simply by watching my videos. I have a binge playlist set up, so if you have some time to let it play while you're gaming, cleaning, working, or just hanging out, those watch hours would help me so much. And of course, liking the video and subscribing to the channel is always appreciated too, but right now those watch hours are what I need the most. So thank you guys so much for watching and for helping me get closer to my monetization. I will see you guys in the next video.